Konnichiwa and welcome to Delving into Asian Psyches, the podcast in which we investigate the pasts, presents and futures of psychology in the Indo-Pacific. My name is Robin Weber and today I'm joined by Miyuki Matsumoto from Japan. So as always, I like to start the episodes by telling you about today's researcher. Miyuki is an affiliate at Nagoya University at the Center for Higher Education, from which she has also received her PhD in psychology. In the meantime, she's also lived in India for several years, where she has also completed a fellowship in Bangalore. Since then, she has returned to Japan, however, as a professor at Aichi Mizo Junior College. In her research, she focuses on social, organizational, and educational psychology and written extensively on cross-cultural adaptation in expats, and has also done comparative studies on classroom management between Japan and India. Most recently, though, she's focused on the mental health aspect as well in schools and workplaces as a whole. Japan now, it is a country that has made its name worldwide. What I find very interesting is that it's one of the most urbanized and ethnically homogeneous countries in the world, and also holds the title for the oldest monarchy dating back to the 6th century. Culturally, the country ranks among the most secular societies, but at the same time, it is also home to endemic religious beliefs such as Shintoism, but also has impacted Zen Buddhism significantly. Now, with that information I've given, I would also like to introduce you to today's guest now. And Miyuki, thank you so much for joining in and being on the podcast.
Okay, thank you. My name is Miyuki Matsumoto. Thank you for inviting me today.
It is a pleasure, for sure. Now, we can get into the conversation, and as I always like to do, have a look back. And I think that is very interesting in the case of Japan, as it has a long-standing history in psychology, dating back even to the ending of 19th century, when psychology started worldwide, really. And my question to you would be is, how did that came to be, that it emerged, and why it also came in so early?
I see. Psychology was born in Japan during the late 19th and early 20th centuries, influenced by Western ideas and knowledges. Throughout the early 20th century, psychology expanded its reach and shared, permeating various fields, including education and industry. The economic growth in the past were influenced the need to improve workplace productivity and the well-being of workers, leading the engagement of industrial psychology. Psychology continues to evolve in Japan, encompassing diverse fields and addressing contemporary challenges. It remains a vital discipline, contributing to various aspects of Japanese society and culture.
Yeah, so it did really look back on a long time, and of course a lot has happened in this time or in this progress. Could you also expand a little bit, how did it transform from back then over the course to now?
Yeah. Psychology's practical applicants have been instrumental in various fields with Japanese society, I think. So, educational psychology has been vital in improving teaching methods and creating conductive learning environments for students. And also, counseling and clinical psychology have played psychiatric roles in addressing mental health issues and providing therapeutic support to those in need. Moreover, psychology has diverse fields into specialized subfields such as health psychology, positive psychology, and cross-cultural psychology. And these areas have provided deeper insights into human well-being and have contributed to the overall betterment of individuals and communities.
I see, and find it very fascinating that you're focusing on these aspects of education and also cross-culturalism. I just once had a lesson on psychology in Japan, and those were actually two very main areas that I've learned influenced psychology's path in Japan. So since you are very deep in this field, I would be interested in hearing more what the main fields or what also the motivations for the focus on these topics in the research came from.
My research identity is in industrial organizational psychology, and it has played a significant role in psychological research, focusing on understanding and improving psychological processes and behaviors within organizations and workplaces in Japan. Over the years, this field has made various contributions in several key areas. First, it has contributed to the enhancement of workers' well-being and productivity. By studying the workplace environment and organizational culture, researchers have identified methods to boost employee motivation and job satisfaction, leading to increased productivity and overall happiness in the workplace. And secondly, industrial and organizational psychology has been instrumental in the study and development of effective leadership. By leadership skills and traits, valuable insights has been gained to foster the growth to expatriate leaders and facilitate efficient organizational management. And thirdly, the field has divided into dynamic of teamwork and group collaboration. Understanding how teams function and communicate has been crucial in forming effective teams, promoting achieving organizational success. Moreover, industrial and organizational psychology has actively addressed stress management and workplace health. By studying stresses and providing psychological support, efforts have been made to create healthier work environments that foster both physical and mental well-being.
Okay, right. This is the area that is very close to heart to you. And also when we look at your life's history, I find it fascinating how it connects to you in a sense. Could you expand on how your psychological research has also coincided with your life choices, for example, in going abroad and studying cross-culturally?
Yes, my past research interest was on workplace stress and stress coping among nurses and teachers. And I was interested in what it takes for workers to keep working successfully, probably because I don't like working very much. One of the biggest changes in my life was my husband's exploitation to India. the initially has nothing to do with research there, and I thought my research career was over. But my stay in India was a wonderful experience. And the most wonderful things were that my family was able to live together. However, as my stay in the country became longer and longer, I became more and more impatient with the prospect of not being able to do research. I wondered if my career could end here. So I decided to go back to the university and do research again. So I went to Christ University in Bangalore. I met a lot of different researchers, had a lot of experience, and most importantly, achieved a lot of research results. So my research at Christ University focused on what factors influence cross-cultural adjustment among Japanese expatriate wives. I was also expatriate's wife, so this was a subject that interested me from my own experience. What we found from this study is that cross-cultural adjustment of expatriate wives abroad is defined by local social support and language skills. In addition, those who were highly interculturally adjusted has a sense of career development.
Wonderful, yeah. I like this research a lot. And
Thank you.
I know you've not written more about this, but could you try to tell us a bit more in how do you understand cross-cultural adjustment? Like what factors go into this term? And also what makes, like you have mentioned the social support and language skills. How does that translate into real life? Like how can you measure the social support or that someone has good language skills?
Yeah, it's a scales. I use these scales. And so I do quantitative research there. Many wives cooperated me and I can do research there. Very helpful. Everyone very helpful.
I understand. And so, as you've described it, you were also basically in the same situation as the people that you've done research on. How was that feeling for you to be involved with this? Like, did you see yourself in your data?
I think most important thing is I think it's a local social support. So if they had local social support, they can adjust their life in abroad. It's very important. And second is language skill, I think. Language skill is very important, but if people got good social support from local people, they can't adjust easily.
Okay, I see.
Have a good mental health.
Right. That's what it leads to ultimately, right? And I think from going through that paper, I also saw that the general happiness is something that is really influential in how well people can adapt. Okay. So, but that was just one part of your life, and now you are back in Japan.
Yes.
So, of course, I would also love to hear on what you're personally focused on at the moment now.
Okay, thank you. So, my current topic is our career development as it related to working. I'm interested in identified factors and influence the career development of elementary school teachers. So, because Japanese elementary teachers face several challenges in their profession. Firstly, they often must deal with a high workload and long working hours, which can lead to stress and imbalance between work and personal life. And another issue is a struggle to accommodate diversity. With the increasing multiculturalism in Japan, teachers may find it challenging to cater to the needs of foreign students or they're from different cultural backgrounds. Moreover, the education system's heavy focus on evaluating and testing can result in a narrow teaching approach that neglects students' creativity and holistic development. The rigid educational system in Japan can hinder teachers from implicating innovative teaching methods, limiting their ability to adapt to challenging educational needs. Lastly, the declining birth rates in certain areas are a problem as the number of students decreases, leading to difficulties in teacher allocation. Some teachers also express dissatisfaction with their salaries, affecting the attractiveness of the teaching profession. To improve the education system, it's essential to address their issues and create a more supportive and flexible environment for teachers and students alike.
Oh, wow. If I may dig a little deeper at this point, because of course the high workload, I think that's very well known about Japan, and it's interesting to see it also in your work in the teaching area.
Yes.
Could you explain how does that look in the work of a teacher? How does the high workload come to be?
Yes. So you mentioned Japanese theater is now, they have a very big problem because high workload and long time working hours. So I think this problem is because elementary school teachers has many roles in schools, roles in schools in Japan. So I want to know how to separate rules in elementary schools. If separate rules, teachers can work schools more successfully, I think.
Okay, yeah. So I think what plays into that is that they're not just teaching, but they also seen as kind of a leader in non-academic tasks, right, that are outside of the classroom.
Yes, that's right. So that's problem in Japan.
All right. And the other topic that you have touched upon is the issue of diversity and multiculturalism, which I find very surprising, as usually Japan counts for this very homogeneous country that is very focused on the Japanese. But now, as you're saying, it is mixing more in recent years. Is that the case? And how do you see that in teaching?
Foreign student is increasing in Japan. So now teachers have to struggle that problem. And also disability students. Inclusive education for disability student needs is increasing in Japan. Another my research topic is inclusive education, regular classes in Japan.
Okay, so that is also something that is getting more attention now, as it seems.
Yes.
So we have now touched on several challenges and problems that Japan is facing in this sector. I also would like to turn now to some possible solutions that you have also included in your work. So what is your argument how Japan could face these topics?
Yes. Japan conducts extensive research in psychology. Psychology is very powerful. So I think Japan conducts extensive research in psychology, and its insight contribute to society's well-being and happiness. Psychology continues to evolve in Japan, playing a vital role in individuals' lives and society's improvement. Firstly, there is an increasing focus on mental health in Japanese society. People are becoming more awake of stress and mental well-being, leading to higher demand for psychological knowledge and services. And secondly, the importance of psychology in education is being recognized. Schools are making efforts to consider students' mental health and provide learning support. Counseling service and educational programs are becoming more prevalent. Thirdly, mental health initiatives are being strengthened due to issues like overwork-related suicide. Companies and government are prioritizing stress checks and improving mental health support. Moreover, online psychological services such as psychotherapy and counseling has become more popular. The COVID-19 pandemic has accelerated the adopting of online platforms, allowing people to access psychological services irrespective of geographical constructs. And lastly, psychology is being widely applied in various fields, including healthcare, education, business, and sports. Psychological approaches are being used to enhance the well-being and happiness of individuals and organizations.
Okay, thank you for that insight as well. And I think it really is important to look not only on the sides that are not going well, but also where it can improve and saving this positive outlook. If we go beyond the field of psychology for a moment, how do you see these issues of mental health being discussed in the general public? As that, of course, is also the other important side to that action.
Yes, it's important. It's very important from this era. Psychology is widely accepted and gaining increased interest among the general public in Japan. There is a growing awareness of mental health issues, such as stress, depression, and anxiety, leading to a higher level to concern for mental well-being. The media plays a significant role in spreading psychological knowledge through television, magazines, and the internet, making information about psychology and self-improvement easily accessible to a broader audience. Psychotherapy is becoming more commonly accepted in Japanese society as a legitimate and effective form of treatment for mental health issues. Counseling and therapy service are increasingly sought after by individuals seeking support and solutions for personal challenges. And the educational institution also contribute to the acceptance of psychology as schools and universities introduce psychology into their curricula and prioritize mental health support for students and staff. And additionally, there is rising interest in mental health awareness and promotion in Japan, with various organizations and experts conducting awareness campaigns, seminars, and events to educate the public about psychology and mental well-being. While the general perception of psychology is positive, some individuals may still hold reservations or misconceptions about it, and reducing the stigma surrounding mental health remains an important goal to ensure more comprehensive mental health support and understanding in Japanese society.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad to hear that there is also progress being made on that front. Also, that connects to your research as well, right? In the educational area, as teachers face a very high workload and stress, that has also must have reflected on their mental health situation, right? I think I saw that the numbers of absences due to mental health issues has risen in this sector. Is that true?
It's true. Yeah, it's true. Many teachers absent now. It's very large problem in Japan.
And do you also see a change of mind in the teachers that are facing
Yes, I think so.
these stresses?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Okay. So before we get to the end of the conversation, I would also like to have a sort of a look into the future a bit, and maybe first on a more personal note, what is your outlook on the continuation of your career? Are you bound to stay in Japan now, and what would you like to investigate further?
Yeah, I do my best for Japanese society and all over the world. Yeah, I try to do my best. Thank you so much.
Okay. Like, what is a topic that would really fascinate you to do a study about?
Fascinating topics is I'm interested in workers' mental health. So yeah, that's why I don't like working. So so I want to know how to be more happy for workers like teachers, expatriates wives. So that's my research motivation.
Yeah, I see. And if we also go on a more broad level, perhaps since psychology is also really long-standing in Japan, do you think there are still changes going on in the field, or has it become quite stable in what it researches and focuses on?
Yes, I think psychology is not a major subject in Japan, but for Japanese society, knowledge from psychology is very important because many people bad mental health. But I think it's changing, still changing in Japan. So perspective is very bright. Bright. It's good, I think.
I got that, yeah. So even though after all this time, you mean it still has room to grow, I think that is also not something limited to Japan, but something psychology is facing in many countries as well. But I'm very glad to hear that the awareness is growing and perhaps room is being made for further developments.
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
Okay, yeah. I'm very grateful for you to have come here and that you were open to talking to me and giving your insights on the psychology in Japan, which I think is a very intriguing topic. I really like the course that you have taken in your research. So yeah, indeed. So I would end our conversation here. Thank you again to share all these things, and I will be back with another episode in 2 weeks. There we will go back to South Asia once more, talk to a researcher from Nepal, what's been going on in their country and how they used psychology to approach it. Thanks very much for joining in, and see you until then. Bye-bye.